It's June 4th, 2024, and we say Yo Joe June as we recap the G.I. Joe Hasbro live stream.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, back again, recapping another Hasbro live stream, and today, June 4th, 2024, we're talking all things G.I. Joe for Yo Joe June, my birthday month. It's like they go together like peanut butter and jelly, I guess, but we got all kinds of reveals from the G.I. Joe team at Hasbro. Some stuff we saw in the past, a little bit of puzzle coming to pieces kind of coming together is kind of what we had here. But now we knew some things that were coming. Now we officially know they're coming. And we saw a few things that we didn't really know too much about. And we're going to recap it in this very video. We'll say pre-orders are up right now. Hit up Big Bad Toy Store. Link in the description below. Entertainment Earth. Use discount code Kyle, as we usually do say. DJC Collectibles. DJC 8 off DJC would be the code over there. So you can get them at all your fine retailers right now. Hit the old link in the description below if you're after them. Hasbro Pulse, Amazon, all the usual suspects. They're everywhere. It's Yo Joe June after all. But the pre-orders are live, and it looks like we're going to have pre-orders each week for the month of June, but it looks like only one live stream, they did say here. Now, Emily wasn't there. There was a boys club this time. They said Emily's getting ready for San Diego Comic-Con. Emily, I'll see you there. Can't wait. But they talked about that a little bit and said, hey, we got some surprises for San Diego Comic-Con, including, it sounds like, the HasLab reveal at San Diego Comic-Con. So that should be pretty cool. You have to imagine Dragonfly will be on full display as well, as that is our next one in our hands. But we know the pre-order for another one should be coming end of summer, early fall. What is time? What is pre-orders? Who knows? But that is right around the corner, San Diego Comic-Con. That is in July, so we should know the HasLab officially by then. We'll see what happens. My word on the street is aircraft carrier. No, I wish. That would be quite the scene, of course, and a breaker of wallets, but I don't think that's ever in the cards, as the Hasbro team has said numerous times. But we'll see what we're up to here in July. I think the last week of July, something like that. Once again, what is time? But let's dive into some stuff. First off, they did show some renders. They're kind of filling out the same formula we usually see. We get some renders, we get some name-only reveals, and then we get some pre-orders, and that's what they stuck to this time around. But we did get renders. We got Dial Tone. We knew he was around the corner here. Of course, Dial Tone got fired from the Joe team once upon a time. Never good to get that pink slip. Dangerous time for old Dial Tone, but Dial Tone looking good. An OG character, one I missed out on the 25th anniversary. Ooh, I need to get that one, hopefully one of these days. But Dial Tone looking good. A classic Joe from my Joe generation. The Serpentor generation is what I always call it. Dial Tone was a big part of that. I'm here for a Dial Tone figure. And then, of course, as the great band from Germany, Sodom, always says,
The Saw is the law.
and they're exactly right, because truly the Saw is the law, and we're getting the Saw Viper, a later Viper. That's what I always kind of say when my later collecting years for the Joes. Right when the Joe fandom was really starting to wane, that's when that Saw Viper came out. But an interesting one. It sounds like the helmet will be removable on this, so we'll have a lot of bells and whistles. But that was the two renders we got here today. Next round of renders, maybe in a couple of weeks, we'll see, or maybe next week. We'll see what ends up happening there. You know, they're going to announce more things through Yo Joe June and then into San Diego Comic-Con. So a lot of Joe stuff coming this summer. But then we dive into the pre-orders, and these were leaked a couple of days ago, but really didn't get out till yesterday to the masses. Sometimes I get that stuff and I want to post it and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I feel weird posting it early before Hasbro sometimes. It's just weird on the leaks thing. I guess it just kind of depends what side of the fence you fit on. I just know from my personal business with new items and things I do, I hate it when things get leaked out there. I hate it when pricing gets out there ahead of time to competition, things like that. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know what I mean. But anyways, we all saw the leaks yesterday, officially announced today. That's where the pre-orders went. We got Alpine around the corner, can finally put him and Bazooka together. It's been a dream of mine, finally going to come through. And I will say the images in the live stream of Alpine looked a lot better than the leaked images we had yesterday. Some figures just don't photograph very well. Alpine feels like that kind of a character to me. Something off in the head in the pictures, but it looked okay when I was looking at the live stream. Your results may vary. Be interested to hear your thoughts on that one. But Alpine, an all-timer out there, of course. We all remember Alpine, one of the classic Joe characters. Definitely needed him probably sooner than this. Would have loved to seen him in Bazooka way back when. But very cool to get Alpine. Pre-order is up right now. A classic Joe, ready to climb that mountain if you need to. But looks good. Looks like Alpine, an updated Alpine is what it looks like. And Alpine, once again, a favorite character of mine. So very excited about that. Now we go to an interesting one. We go to Storm Shadow version 2, when Storm Shadow became a good guy, and I have a lot of fond childhood memories of this Storm Shadow back in the 80s. I distinctly remember being at Children's Palace. Shout out to Children's Palace, we'll never forget you. Being on my dad's shoulders and going through the Joe racks. He's going through down here, and back in the glory days of the 80s, there was walls of G.I. Joe figures out there. That's the way it worked. Looking for this Storm Shadow, and remember finding it that day at Children's Palace. It's one of the only real shopping memories I have. I probably have about 5 Joe shopping memories, maybe more than that, but that is one that always sticks out in my mind, looking through those, trying to find that one, and being so excited to get that as a kid. Now, all these years later, we're getting good guy Storm Shadow once again. To mixed results. Not everybody loving the looks of this one. Got to put myself in that same camp. Maybe it'll look better in person, we'll see, but something off in the hood and the head for me on this one. I can't really put my finger on it like a young ween out there, but I am anxious to see how it looks in hand, how it looks at the table. Maybe it'll improve, maybe it'll be better like that Alpine. I don't know, but this is one a lot of people were looking for, and honestly, this is kind of my Storm Shadow. This was my favorite Storm Shadow to play with as a kid. I would have him do the, he start as a heel, and he'd do the face turn in my playing days, and he'd suit up in this outfit. Of course, join Snake Eyes, Quick Kick, and the rest of the ninja group, I guess, and be off to the races to take on Cobra. So this one really hitting home. I just hope it looks a little bit better in hand, as I'm not wowed with this one from what we've seen so far, but we'll see where it ends up going. But now it's time to go to the Iron Grenadiers, and yes, it's Grenadiers, but I don't know. I was one of those kids, it was always Iron Grenadiers to me. It sounds better. Maybe not. Maybe that's just your childhood thing where it was never pronounced out loud, so you had to do it yourself. But apparently it's Grenadiers, but it was always Grenadiers to me. I'm sure one of you guys can back that up. It was Grenadiers to more than just me. It had to have been. But Iron Grenadiers coming out there. Of course, Destro's sub-team. We got Metalhead already. So we're really building out this team. We build out the Crimson. We build out the Cobra Bats and many different things with the Python Patrol. Now we're doing it here with the Iron Grenadier and the Bat, of course, the Grenadier Bat, which I don't think was ever in existence, just a way to get more out of your molds, I guess. A little bit of bells and whistle changes with that one there, but you got to fill out the ranks somehow, and I guess you got to throw some bats in there. But the Iron Grenadier, I liked how in the live stream they showed you can mix and match some of the heads if you really wanted to with the bat, so there was a little bit of army building you could possibly do and mixing and matching there. The Iron Grenadier looked good for what it is. It is truly a trooper. It's like the Cobra Officer, Cobra Trooper for Destro's clan. But seeing these ones here, it just feels very incomplete to me without Destro, and I would really love to see a deluxe Destro with Air Chariot. I could see that as a Target exclusive, possibly in the fall. I wouldn't be shocked to see that. But that makes a lot of sense. You got to have Destro leading the charge right here, don't you? I mean, you really have to at some point there. But really like how the Grenadiers are coming together. Very cool to get these two here. But man, you got to have the gold face, gold mask Destro to really lead the charge. Hopefully this year, hopefully we really complete that team pretty quick. Hopefully it's not like the Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders, which we're going to talk about here in a second, where Barbecue came out like 2 years ago. Now we're starting to finally get some members of that team. Hopefully they don't do that with the Grenadiers, so we'll see what happens in the future there. But if you want both Grenadiers there, you want Alpine, you want Storm Shadow, pre-orders up right now. Now, they did mention, of course, retro figures. Now, it looks like these are going to go up for pre-order next week. As I mentioned earlier, they're going to do weekly pre-orders. Not to bust everybody's wallet all at once, I guess, but the retro line is coming back, and a lot of people thinking Hooded Cobra Commander here. I don't know really exactly why. We've heard that it's just, it will be someday, but I thought immediately the next retro line would have Cobra Commander, and we got him coming here, but I figured it would be the one from the HasLab without the Mickey Mouse Cobra, some changes, make it feel different, and that's what we got. Now, if they were going to do Hooded Cobra Commander, I would have much preferred that in this slot here. Put some time between that and the HasLab. I think they should have done that, but it is what it is. They got Cobra Commander coming on the retro card, and of course you knew you had to have him in that set. But we're getting with a Vac Metal face mask, which I think is very, very cool. Looks different. Of course, the classic Cobra logo, that's what I'm going to call it on there, and a few different tweaks. Make it feel different from the HasLab, but I got to say, a lot of people selling those HasLab Cobra Commanders for 100, 130, whatever it was been, probably dropping a little bit here today with that one around the horizon for $20 to $25, as we do know. But a good classic looking Cobra Commander. Love the vac metal in there, making it feel different, making it look different. And let's be honest, we all got a lot of shelves at this point for classified. You put a Cobra Commander over here, you put a Cobra Commander over here, you mix and match and do a little bit of that. So very cool to get this Cobra Commander, especially on a retro card. And a lot of people keeping the retro carded cards on card. A lot of card playing going on, like a young Ace of Spades. Shout out to my boy Lemmy there. But we do got Cobra Commander. We also have a Cobra Officer, a little army builder. Makes sense to be in here. I'm not shocked about that. Not a ton of bells and whistles. I'll pick up one, and as usual with these army builders, if they go to clearance, things like that, I'll pick up a few more down the line. So we did see that. We saw Retro Stalker. A lot of people love Stalker. Hey, there's people out there say Stalker's the real leader of G.I. Joe, and guess what? That's your opinion. We all know it's Flint, but at the end of the day, some people Stalker is their leader. My Stalker, my favorite one was the one that came with the kayak. That was always my favorite Stalker as a kid playing. This one is the classic Stalker. It looks like the 3 3/4, grown up to the classified scale, we'll call it here, but a lot of people are going to be after that Stalker. So you got Stalker, Cobra Officer, Cobra Commander, the next round of the retro wave. But then we turn our attention to the following week after that, and Slaughter and his Mad Marauders get after it. We're diving in. We got Barbecue many moons ago, as we talked about. Now we got Low Light and Spirit. Very easy repaints, no different than it was back in the day. Niall, the new Eagle going on. I don't know about that. Bring me freedom all day long, but we got Niall as part of this. Very easy repaints. You can pass on it if you want to. However, for me, I love the Marauders back in the day. I was a big fan of Sergeant Slaughter and his Marauders, so bring those to me. Bring those to me all day long. And of course, you can't have the Marauders without Sergeant Slaughter. Have to imagine Mutton Junkyard will be in the future as well. We remember them part of that team. There were some other members as well, and I'm sure we'll get all of them eventually. But Sergeant Slaughter is a deluxe figure once again. He does got his itty ditty bitty bag. He's got that going on there, and he's got those weights that we saw with Big Boa. We got blue boxing gloves like we saw with Big Boa, so we can have a boxing match in our G.I. Joe classified scale if we want to. A lot of extra hands, weapons, of course, the little action figure. Sergeant Slaughter packed to the nose there. And Sergeant Slaughter did go to the internet, all the famed internet, over the weekend and said, hey, this one, and there was an image of the Sergeant Slaughter figure without his hat on, his campaign cover, as it's known in some circles. And he said, don't put that out there, and there is some that slipped out. So it sounds like that one will be a very rare occurrence, I guess. So if you find that, you might not want to open that one up. The one that is going to be the official one for Sergeant Slaughter will have the glasses and the hat on. So if you do come across the one without the glasses and hat, apparently it's going to be a little bit more rare. But always good to see Sergeant Slaughter. He's a cornerstone of G.I. Joe for a wrestling fan like me. And from where I came into G.I. Joe, it was a big part of things. It was a big, big deal with Sergeant Slaughter. Happy to get another version here, and it just makes sense. Slaughter does sell, as we do know. So looking good as far as the Marauders go. Look forward to the eventual Mutton Junkyard and some of the other figures, I'm sure, in the future. Maybe even San Diego Comic-Con. We'll see what happens there. We did see a name-only release going on in Footloose. Everybody Footloose. And Footloose, another one of those ones, just like Dial Tone, I'm missing from the 25th anniversary series. I believe those two are both G.I. Joe Club exclusives, and I missed out on those back in the day. Oh, just grinds my gears to this day. But we got Footloose coming, and like I said, everybody Footloose. We'll see him probably at San Diego Comic-Con. And then they really did kind of close it down with one that we saw leaked images of a couple of weeks ago. We knew it was coming. It had been rumored to be coming. Saw some images coming to Hasbro Pulse, coming to Amazon. And it sounds like fan channel exclusive. Fan channel, basically everything but Walmart and Target is really what it nets out to. But it is the Cobra Stinger plus Driver. Of course, Driver, easy repaint there. But we're here about the Stinger. We knew it was coming. You knew once we had the Vamp, we knew we'd get the Stinger here. You got to have the yin and yang. You got to have the Halls of Justice evened out, of course. And they ran through the paces on that one. It sounds like we're going to get another video maybe later this month running through it a little bit more, building it, putting it together. So that'll be interesting to see when that time does come. But they know a lot of people missed out on that Vamp. I think they're making this a little bit more accessible, and it's a must-have. It's a very cool-looking vehicle, and if you got the Vamp, you got to have this to go side by side with it. So looking pretty good. Really a little bit of something for everybody here in this live stream reveal. You got your retro fans, you got the fan channel stuff with the Marauders, you got a vehicle and a driver, you got some name-only reveals in Footloose, and then you got, of course, Dial Tone and the Saw Viper shown in the renders. A little bit of something for everybody. Have to imagine we'll see some more, hear some more the rest of the month, and then, of course, San Diego Comic-Con in July. All bets are off what we'll see out there, and we'll be covering it on the channel. So there it is, a little Yo Joe June reveal discussion video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What are you most excited for? Let me know your thoughts once again in the comments down below. And of course, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bells. We got videos every single day, and we got 2 YouTube channels with videos every single day. Make sure you sub both of those. Check out the Patreon for early access to both channels' videos. All the images from all the videos are over there. You get bonus pizza reviews, you get monthly Q&As, monthly giveaways. You name it, it's going down to the Patreon. Patreon, best way to support the channel. You can also support the channel, PrestoTees.com, search Kyle Peterson. My book, The Complete Guide to the Jakks Class Superstar Series on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. And of course, don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for Yo Joe June, I'm Kyle. Yo Joe!